First, I would like to introduce myself a little bit. I am Jing, the Senior Regional Manager from International Business School of Beijing Foreign Studies University. Give us a brief introduction about economic, and then I will give you some information about how to register in ABS BFSU, and then we will have a Q&A session in the end of our presentation. So before we start, we would like to encourage you to interact with us and ask questions. Okay, thank you so much. So Mr. Eden, are you ready?
No, but I will start anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Now for today's presentation, please chip in if you want to. It would be good if you participate and yell out when I mention something you like or you don't like. I will try to present today's seminar with a lot of pictures. I'm trying to use pictures to tell the story about a little bit about economics. Now, I only have slightly more than half an hour, about 40 minutes. So obviously this will not be a very deep discussion on economics. I just want to make it light-hearted and maybe see the relevance and the practicality of economics in today's life and how it may relate to you coming to China. We always talk about the economic miracle about China. It's not something to be seen, it is something to be experienced, and that will be especially so if and when you come to China. Okay, can you hear me? All of you, yes? Okay, now next, let's start with this presentation. Okay, can you see the screen? Right, good. Now, I like I said before, I'm trying to to conduct today's seminar using pictures. So, as an introduction, economics, I'm putting up all these pictures. Would anybody or could anybody contribute and say something about these pictures? Do these pictures tell you what economics is? I don't see any student. I can't see anybody. No? Anybody? Okay. Now, since nobody is going to answer, I'll just answer myself. Right. Don't worry. I'm used to that as a teacher. Right. Using pictures to answer these questions. What do these pictures show? If you can see the pointer here, what is this showing? Yes, it would be good if they can talk. And it would also be good if I can see them. Hello, anybody like to turn on your camera and show yourself? It's not compulsory, but at least it is more human. Right. Anyway, if you're here, so these are pictures I would say could maybe answer the question: what is economics? Textbook stuff. Anybody, if you have studied economics before, what are the keywords? So this picture, what is this showing? In fact, these two pictures are also showing that. Okay, did I hear somebody say scarcity? Yes, exactly. I think I'm trying to pretend and act today. So economics is about scarcity. These pictures, they show scarcity. Okay. Now, unless you are Elon Musk or the Amazon guy, money is a scarce resources. We have limited amount of money. Time. Okay, all these are showing scarcity. Economics is a study on scarcity, on scarce resources. So resources is a key word in economics that will be repeated time and time again. And on top of that, economics is also a study of the allocation of scarce resources, which these two pictures are showing. You have a limited you have limited resources. Your cake, that's all you have. How are you going to allocate this big piece of cake? How many slices are you going to cut? Are you going to cut big slices for somebody, small slices for others, or are you going to cut equal slices for everybody? So this is study of economics by definition is the study of the allocation of scarce resources. Now, okay, let's move on. Furthermore, because of scarce resources, we are forced to do something. Did I hear somebody answer correctly? Yes, we are forced to make choices. So we are forced to make choices, which these pictures are showing. Now, associated in conjunction with making choices, making decisions, we are faced with opportunity costs. What is opportunity cost? An easy way of looking at opportunity cost is foregone alternatives. Now I'll use an example here, which may not be too appropriate. Now, for example, if now you have heard of BFSU, you're considering coming to BFSU. However, if you choose not to come to BFSU, you have foregone. You have incurred opportunity costs. You're going to miss out on all the excitement that come with being at BFSU. Okay, so because resources are scarce, you have to make decisions on how you're going to spend, how you're going to allocate your resources, and by doing that, you incur opportunity costs. Opportunity costs are those things that you forego when you make a certain decision. Okay, now textbook stuff, not so interesting. Now, what I like is to actually relate this to life. Economics is life. Economics is not just a study in a business field. Now, when I first started my studies in a university in business, I always thought that economics is just on business. No, economics is actually more than that. It is life, because you have to make choices, and every choice you make, that is economics. Okay, in fact, economics is a field in business. It is also sociology. It is also politics. Okay, now next, let's talk. Let's see how economics begin. I'll just show you some pictures here. Adam Smith. Okay, is this picture actually him? I don't know. It's like, I just trust the internet. If this is posted in the internet saying this is Adam Smith, I just assume this is Adam Smith. Okay, now Adam Smith, if you studied economics, you will realize this is important. This person is important. He's considered as the founder of modern day economics. I will just highlight some of the important things that result from him, Adam Smith. So I would say it is through Adam Smith that the study of economics began. Now, why was it that there was no formal study on economics? You have to perhaps relate this to the timeline on developments. Before Adam Smith, there were just cottage industry. Business was simple. Every person will virtually need to make all the things he needs to use. So there's very little trading and there's very little specialization. So the study on economics was very basic and simple then. It is because of Industrial Revolution where mass production becomes possible that the study of economics become more interesting. Now, furthermore, Adam Smith is also famous for Moral Sentiments. This is the first book he wrote, and in this book he introduced the concept of the invisible hand. What is the invisible hand? Like the name say, invisible. You cannot see this hand, but there seems to be a hand that is sorting things out. And what we could learn from this is he actually mentioned this something which is interesting, that individuals, business people, they actually conduct business out of a selfish purpose, for their own purpose, for their own profits, for their own benefits. But in doing so, he or she would bring about greater social benefits through public goods and so on. So it's something that, well, interesting if you think about it. So Adam Smith, moral sentiments, invisible hand, and from this concept of invisible hand, we are able to talk about laissez-faire economics, where there's minimum government intervention. Government should not, according to Adam Smith, government should not interfere too much, because in society there's a free market system, there's an invisible hand. Things will sort itself out. That is what Adam Smith was preaching. Now next, the second book he wrote was The Wealth of Nations. What is interesting, the key highlights of this book that I would like to draw out is this concept of trading and division of labor. Nations, countries, they are able to build their wealth because of trading. And trading takes place because of division of labor. This if you relate to the previous if you relate this to years ago when business is simply cottage industry, where small businesses are small, they just make they make small little things, and there's no mass production, so industry is still man-made, so a lot of things are still made manually. And because of that, you are not able to produce a lot of goods, and you cannot produce a lot of goods cheaply. Okay, now with the notion of division of labor, then business people, they are able to specialize. So you specialize on what you're good at making, what you're efficient at making, and then we trade. And from through that, wealth could be built up. Adam Smith actually wrote a third book, but unfortunately he died before this third book was published. So it is postulated, it is believed that this third book would be on governments. But anyway, we wouldn't know that for certain. Right, so that's Adam Smith. He's the founder of modern economics. Now, briefly, I have to run through this a little bit more quickly. So these are textbook stuff on economics, which I will not go through. Now, the next two persons I want to highlight, the next two people important in economics that I want to highlight, Keynes and Friedman. Now, what is significant about Keynes and Friedman? What are the things they brought to economics, which I like to bring, which I would like to talk about today? Keynes. The key concept that he talks about is aggregate demand. Now, I will mention a little bit about this as well today. Aggregate demand. It is believed that this concept of aggregate demand drives an economy. So do we see that happening in the economics of today? Okay, we will see if this notion of aggregate demand is talked about. Now, Keynes, he was famous and he was popular from the Great Depression to the 70s. Then in the 70s, stagflation happened, and that was when all his theories sort of became questionable. But anyway, we will not be looking at that today. So I just want to associate Keynes with this concept of aggregate demand. And what is aggregate demand? It is the demand of the whole society in general. Right, that's Keynes. Now, after Keynes, after the 70s, Friedman became the popular guy in economics. And the highlight of Friedman economics is on money supply. Okay, he's a monetarist. Anyway, it's the details. I won't go into that today. Now, next, what is more relevant for us? So I'm going to answer that with pictures. So I'm showing you quite a few pictures here. What am I trying to do here? What is my purpose of showing these pictures? Okay, am I promoting tourism to you? Maybe. All these are pictures of bridges, roads in China. What has this got to do with economics? Of course, we can admire these pictures. It shows the marvel of engineering in China. Okay, yes, infrastructure is good. I will talk about this word, infrastructures. So the word that I'm looking for from all this is infrastructures. Now, what has infrastructure got to do with economics? Let's look at more pictures. We have bridges, roads, airports, ports, railways. The rail system is something I can tell you that I can share from real life experience. I have been in China for about 15 to 20 years. And in the first few years, the train that I took, they were slow trains. And of course, it wasn't as comfortable. And the bullet train came about maybe about 7, 8 years ago, if I'm correct. And it really modernizes the whole experience. And just you could feel it. Anybody who has been in China, who has taken the old train and the new trains, they will tell you it is something, it is an experience. Your whole lifestyle changes. This is just one example. Right. Somebody mentioned the word infrastructures. Very good. So what has infrastructure got to do with economics? Okay, Tamin, you're correct in saying infrastructure. Could you elaborate? What has infrastructure got to do with economics? We associate a growing economy with the building of a lot of infrastructures. This is the first thing that catches a person's eye, whether a country is doing well or not, looking at the amount of constructions that is taking place. In fact, make business easier, faster. In fact, I have been in BFSU for 10 years, and for those 10 years, there is not a single day where I don't see new constructions. So there's a joke that goes around. BFSU is forever's building forever. So the amount of modernization, the amount of construction that goes on in BFSU is non-stop. So yes, I've been in BFSU for 10 years, and really, for those 10 years, not a day goes by where I don't see something new being built. Okay, it brings about business, sort of. Now, this is where I want to relate. Is a measure of good GDP and economic growth? Yes. This is the first thing we see when an economy starts to develop. Infrastructure. Now, if you recall, Keynes, aggregate demand. So when there is a lot of construction of these infrastructures, this causes aggregate demand to be more. Okay, in the building of this, you need all the associated activities. Those are economic activities, and if you're familiar with macroeconomics, that brings about multiplier effects. Okay, what is the multiplier effects? So an example would be like this: a person in the economy, he earns $1. He earns $1 in his salary. Of the $1, let's say he saves 10%. He saves 10 cents. The rest of his salary, the 90 cents that he earns, he would be spending this. Now, as he spends this, he creates demand. And then there's this multiplier effects that is associated with this demand. The 90 cents that he spends becomes the salary of the second person. And this cycle will keep going. So you could see how economy grow by simply having that extra dollar in wages. So building of these infrastructures will cause this aggregate demand to be more. So this is one aspect where an economy grows, building of these infrastructures, and it is a good indication of the amount of economic activities that go on, and it is associated with a growing economy, building of these infrastructures. Now, okay, so Keynes he was popular in the early to mid last century. He he was talking a lot about this aggregate demand, and the few economies that were growing massively during those times, they saw a huge increase in aggregate demand, and a lot of this comes from building of these infrastructures. Now we saw a lot of this infrastructure building in China from 30 years ago, and even now, this is still going on. So infrastructures, building of these infrastructures, it is a sign of a growth in aggregate demand, and this is a force that is driving an economy. Okay, now, but I want to add to that. What else? Can you think of how infrastructures also causes an economy to grow? Apart from the building of these infrastructures itself, the building of these infrastructures itself is an economic activity. It is an aggregate demand. But on top of that, something very interesting about these infrastructures, and that is suggested by some economists as one of the main driving forces that is driving the growth of China's economy. Can you quickly think of this? How else can you associate infrastructures with economy? I will give you a hint. Refer back to the definition of economics. The first few pictures I showed you. What did I show you? The first few pictures. Scarce resources. Now, what these infrastructures do, apart from driving the economic activities, which itself is an aggregate demand, which causes an economy to grow, but on top of that, these infrastructures, they are resources. They become the resources for further economic activities. Okay, and economics has also coined this term regenerative resources. And infrastructures is an example of regenerative resources. Regenerative resources means resources that become other resources for other things. Resources that become the resources for other things. Infrastructures, you build infrastructures from resources, and then these infrastructures, they themselves become the resources for other economic activities. Okay, now, so infrastructures, a key aspect of the growth of economy, and you can see that in China. Now, next, more pictures. I need to go a little bit faster. What do these pictures show? It shows coal mining, logging. And what do you associate these pictures with, apart from having pollution? All these are old economy. So this brings about the involvement of governments. What should government be doing to improve a country's economy? So from these pictures, we go on to this. So what do these pictures show? What do these pictures show? Okay, what I'm trying to demonstrate here is not only changing the kind of resources you use, shifting to greener sources, good, and that has got something to do, is one part of what I'm trying. Somebody raises hand. It is a part of this overall picture of transforming an economy. Okay, what is transforming an economy? Restructuring and transforming an economy. Okay. What is restructuring? What is restructuring or transforming an economy? So the example that I've illustrated, going to greener sources, that is an example. That is one aspect of restructuring an economy. Previously, an economy was relying on coal, on logging as its energy resource. So what can happen? What can happen from that? What can governments do to improve? Okay, governments can instead switch to wind, and hydro electricity. Now, these things, okay, they they causes the structure of an economy to change. And what does it mean when the structure of economy changes? The kind of activities that define a country's economy, that changes. So associated with this restructuring of an economy, of course, the skill sets of your workers, they need to change. They need to develop, your workers need to develop other skill sets to adapt to the new society. Now, of course, you get benefits from this, for example, the greener resources. Okay, and this restructuring, it causes greater efficiency. Remember, economics is a study of the allocation of scarce resources. So an aspect that governments could do to improve a country's economy is to restructure, transform the economy. Not only would society benefit from having a better lifestyle, but it causes a different way of using your resources. You are now using your resources in a more efficient way. So resources are scarce. You only have this fixed limited amount of resources. So how can you use these resources? By restructuring the economy, you are now using the resources in a more efficient way. So with the same amount of resources, you can produce more. So this is also one aspect on growing an economy. This is also one aspect of what economists should be doing. Allocation of scarce resources. Now you're allocating your resources into better ways of using. And that is restructuring an economy. Now, there are benefits that would flow on from this, and you see that in China. So, and this is what I'm showing now. 5G, pictures of 5G. What is this picture showing? This is not only showing you restructuring, transforming an economy. This is actually also a picture that shows infrastructures. So this is an example where infrastructures become resources. So building this internet, the internet superhighway, that is an infrastructure, but that is also a resource. Okay, with 5G, with internet, it brings about economic activities. For example, now we have electric cars. So this is partially, part of this has got to do with internet. Part of it is just restructuring the economy. So you're shifting the usage of your transport into more greener transport. But this electric cars, you also need a good internet system, and this is in China. We have car sharing. Now we have heard of bicycle sharing. Now in China, I was surprised. This is actually real. Even going back a few years, there are car sharing. So you could just go up to one of these and use your phone and press a few buttons, make your payments, and then off you go. You can actually drive off an electric cars. So yes, artificial intelligence. Again, this is I have not seen, but yeah, I've seen something similar, but these are not things that I've personally seen. But I'm sure it happens, and it will become more common very soon. So this is restructuring of your economy, where the government is responsible for focusing on more efficient usage of resources. Okay, now, and on top of all this restructuring of your economy, internet is an example where the government in China places a lot of emphasis on. It is a restructuring of the economy, greater reliance on the internet. And coming out from that, we have e-commerce and all these electronic payment systems. So the e-payment systems, and in fact also the digitalization of the Chinese RMB. this part of it, we can relate in economics to treatment, the monetaries. So having this electronic payment system, it adds convenience and it actually adds to the money supply. So having the money supply, it helps the economy flow even faster. And China is probably the place you want to be to witness and experience all this. It has really become a cashless society. And how modern is this? Even in our university, a lot of purchases you can make by using this. And if you are fortunate or unfortunate enough to go out onto the streets, I'm sharing you a personal experience. So in BFSU, we have two campuses, the West and East campus, but they're not that far apart. So they are separated by the third ring road, which is a highway. And then we have an underpass built to link the two campuses. So sometimes students have to move from one campus to the other to attend different classes. So now, why am I sharing this experience? I personally came across this and I was so impressed because this is actually an example of the e-payment system. Now, it's rare, you don't really see this much nowadays, thankfully, but on occasions you would see beggars. Now, beggars, they just there begging for money. Now, when I first came to China, beggars would be holding up a cup or a saucer, asking for you to donate, to give some money. Now, these days, few years ago, we have the beggars have also become very modern. Now, instead of taking out a cup or a saucer to ask you to give money to them, they give you a UR code to scan. So this is also, yeah, how beggars have become modern in China. They're not asking you for cash because now a lot of people in China don't even carry cash. So they are on the street begging, holding up a UR code, and you scan to give money electronically. Okay, now, right, moving on. I have seen this, but I have not used this because I'm not good looking enough. This is face recognition. So apparently in China, some ATMs, you can actually withdraw money by just using face recognition. And in airports, the security, when you check in at airports and even in the subways, this face recognition. Yeah, I've seen people use it, but I've not tried this myself. And when and if you come to China to BFSU, you will be able to experience this. Okay, smart homes, again, examples of transforming a society of the economy. When you transform your internet is an infrastructure. It is a regenerative resources, and it is a resources where you can build smart homes upon. Okay, so internet, big thing, and how important is it? Even in China, when the rest of the world we are discussing, debating on 5G, China is already building 6G. Now, would this make China stronger? Would this make China stronger? Okay, think about the internet as an infrastructure. So what does this infrastructure provide? Transport. You need to bring your resources or your goods from one place to another. Now, whoever can bring it faster, they will be saving time. Then they will be able to build faster. They will be able to move things around faster. So economic activities become faster. So obviously that means important. Okay, right. So I've gone through this. So the highlight, I will come to that highlight later. So all these things I've mentioned, the emphasis of infrastructures, regenerative resources. Now, okay, you, what about you? Now, if you're interested, these two pictures here, this is the library, the BFSU, this is our library. And this is our students, BFSU students, taken outside the library. So this is real. I didn't make this up. So these two pictures, they are BFSU. Now, because I don't have your pictures, I just randomly put pictures of students. Hopefully, one day, if you give me your pictures, I will put them here. So you, what have you got to do? You are human resource. So you are also a resource. I'll rush through this quickly. I'm supposed to finish this now. When you receive as a student, you receive education. Even not as a student, we are always acquiring knowledge. Education, and knowledge. What are they? They are resources as well. They are regenerative resources. So this education, receiving an education and gaining knowledge, they are the resources for you to provide products or services. So when obviously you would need to work one day, and when you're working, you need to be creating things. You need to be creating things, and this comes from the resources that you accumulate in university, education and knowledge. Okay, now I think this is I'm coming towards the end. Space. Recently there was a bit of news of China's involvement in the space exploration. They have sent astronauts to space for a few months. Now, what has this got to do with economy? What has this got to do with economics? Okay, yes, satellites, space exploration. By getting involved in space exploration in the space industry, this is an industry. We're talking about satellites. And what do these satellites do? Internet. They are able to provide even more infrastructures. They are able to provide services, products and services. For example, the satellite positioning system. What are they? They are a service to you, to a user. Okay, you sometimes you need to have a global positioning system. So this is a service to you. But for some people, this service that is provided to them, they use this service to create other products and services. So this is another example where something which seems like a service, like a product, it is a resource. It becomes a regenerative resource. And furthermore, and what else? Space exploration. There are a lot of unknown resources out in the space, in the outer space, and governments, China, I'll just use China as an example. They are placing emphasis on space exploration because they could perhaps gather resources. Okay, so that is basic. That is really maybe a summary of what I want to emphasize on today's seminar. Infrastructures and resources, not just any resources, but regenerative resources. So it is this accumulation of regenerative resources that it sort of breaks the traditional view on economics having scarce resources. So now, what is scarce resources? We are trying to unscarce resources by using the resources we have to generate even more resources. So maybe this is okay. One of the reasons why China is growing so rapidly, because a lot of emphasis is on taking your scarce resources and generating more resources from that. And you can see that from a lot of the examples that I've mentioned today. Okay, I think I'm finishing. Can you guess what is happening? What do I want to show in this picture? Okay. Now, what is this picture trying to show? Scarce resources. Now you have more resources. This can be done through regenerative resources. So infrastructures, for example, the internet. The amount of resources limited, but if you use these resources properly, correctly, by transforming your economy, by building the infrastructures, by using your resources to build infrastructures, the infrastructures, they themselves become other resources. So this is one picture of what economists, what economy could do. More resources. Okay, and of course, you should also allocate it more equitably. Cake, equitable distribution, more resources, bigger piece of cake. So this summarizes what to me economics is. Okay, I have finished what I want to share today.
Okay, thank you so much. And it's very impressive. I think I really like one idea is
Okay.
that.
Yes, I saw a question. Resources, are they finite? Yes, they are finite, but if you use it correctly, like the examples that I've been illustrating, you take your finite resources, and for example, infrastructures is one way of using your resources. Your resources is finite, you use it to build infrastructures. Now, what happens? The infrastructures that you have built, they become resources, regenerative resources. So now your limited finite amount of resources, using it in a certain way actually creates more resources. Internet is another example. So you need the resources to build the internet. So you have used up some of your resources to build the internet. But the internet itself becomes a regenerative resource. It creates more resources. And using hydroelectric and the windmill, they are also creating resources. Okay, I hope I answered your question. Sorry, Ching, go on.
It's okay. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can ask Eden. Maybe we can give you 1 minute to do the Q&A session. Okay, I think I really like one idea is how to use the limited resources more effective. That's what we do for our economy. And now I'm going to move to my part to give you more idea about Beijing Foreign State University, where you can study business and start your own career. So my presentation is about 4 parts. So first, I'm going to give you a short introduction about Beijing Foreign Study University, BFSU. And we are the first foreign studies university in China. And we was founded in 1941. And this year is our 80th anniversary. And we are a public university, belongs to the Education Ministry directly. And we also belongs to 211 and 211 project and 985 and double first class. This 3 label means the top university in China. So if you are looking forward to study in China, I suggest you focus on these 3 labels. And people call us the cradle of diplomas because we have many alumni work in the embassy all over the world. And so far, we have 101 foreign language being taught in BFSU. If you count Mandarin, if you include Mandarin, that will be 102. So this will give you a good opportunity to just pick up another language during your study in BFSU. And after this short introduction, you may believe that BFSU is famous for language. Yes, but I would like to see we are far more than language. We have 121 bachelor degree available for students. Like you can choose the School of Business, School of Law, School of Journalism, and School of Language as well. Our faculty members are very internationalized. Some are local Chinese professors, some are foreign professors like Eden. And we have cooperation more than 400 universities all over the world. So this will give you the opportunity to study in another university in another country. And the last but the most important part is that our graduate salary is very high. You can definitely find this information online. Like BFSU is here. We are top 5 in China, and our students can get around 10,000 when they graduate, 10,000 RMB, which is around 1,600 USD dollars. And if you read the report show you that the average level in China is 5,000. So we are like 12 times, we are like 12 higher than the average level. And we have many famous alumni like Mr. Jin Lichun. He is the president of AIIB, and he gave us the presentation to our students to introduce the global economic environments just in this April. And this is Mrs. Yang Lai. She is a senior media journalist, and she represents China to apply the Olympic Games twice. And we also have some head of the states studied in BFSU before, like the former Prime Minister of Malaysia and the princess from Thailand. So let's move to International Business School. Because the development of Chinese economy, more and more students want to study business in China. So I would like to recommend International Business School. And we are the youngest but the biggest department in BFSU with more than 2,000 full-time students and 600 international students. So if you study in ABS, you may see that your classmates are from Thailand, from Indonesia, from Malaysia, or from US, UK, many different nationalities. And our curriculum is divided into 2 parts. First is English total program. So if you cannot speak Mandarin, you can absolutely register in the English program because no Mandarin is required when you register. But you will definitely learn the Chinese here. We have for around maybe 6 to 8 hours per week to teach you Chinese. But if you're good at Chinese, you can choose the Chinese-based program to study with our Chinese students together. And we have many culture activities available for our students because we want to create the link and we encourage our students to learn from their peers. So you will not only focus on the textbook, but you can join many different activities. And we also create some kind of activity to bring you together with the local Chinese student. Maybe you can do the case study together or group work together. So you will have a better understanding about each other. And the most unique part is our immersion week because we are focused on business and it changed very fast. So we want you to have the modern ideas about what is your real business like. So we have immersion week each semester. I will talk about that later. And as I mentioned before, our students can get very high salary when they graduate. More specifically, so student, by the way, the blue bar is ABS student and the red one is the average level. So you can see that students major in finance, international economy and trade, and business administration can get much higher salary when they graduate. Like the finance is almost 3 times of the average level. So why our students this competitive when they graduate or why they can meet the needs of the job market? I think there are 3 main reasons. The first one is our faculty, our internationalized faculty. No matter they're Chinese professors or no matter they are or foreign professors, all of them are well educated. I would like to say most of them, nearly 80%, are study overseas or teaching overseas or working overseas. Like Luca, he is from Harvard University, and Karen, she is from Peking University. And the second reason, as I mentioned before, you will have a chance to study in another country for 1 semester. Like you can choose to study in US, UK, or European countries. So this will make your study or make your life more colorful and broaden your horizons. While the third part is the most important part, we have immersion week. So from year 1 to year 3, you will totally have 6 times of immersion week. 3 times are based in Beijing, and another 3 times will travel to another city, like Shanghai, like Chengdu, like Hangzhou, and the transportation, the accommodation, and the tickets are paid by university. So we will take an example, we can go to Shanghai by highway, by high-speed train, which Eden just showed you, right? From Beijing to Shanghai, if we take the high-speed train, maybe just 5 hours, and you can order the food even in the high-speed train. Okay, back to the immersion week. So you may think that we go to the company and just take some photos, that's all. But I would like to say no, because we will have our professors and to come with you, and you will be divided into different groups. You will do the case study and you will do the presentation in the end of this immersion week. Like they will give you some project, like if you have $10 billion, how can you improve this company? Or how can you create your own branch? In recent years, we visit Google and we visit ITE. We also visit Baidu and Huawei. While except this high technology company, we also go to some traditional one, like Yanjin Pijiu, a beer company, and Haitian Nyangzao, a food industry, is famous for soya sauce. And we also go to some like the car company or coffee or computer company. So you can see that our students have the opportunity to sit in the meeting room to have a discussion with the management team. So this will give you more ideas, or this will give you a different ideas. And I would like to say that many students use this opportunity to find intern or find job. Back to this picture. This was taken in 2019. One of our Malaysian students got offer full-time job offer by this opportunity. And why it's easy for them to get the opportunity, I would like to give you some details. Because we travel many different companies, and then you will know which one you really like or which one you are really good at. So when you want to find intern or when you want to find job, you already have your own pathway, right? And you can get the contact from the company. When you want to find job, you just email them, right? And now I'll go in to show you some pictures about our campus. This is a new building, new sculpture. As Isa mentioned before, we have a lot of new sculpture and new building. This is a new sculpture in the West Campus. Its name is Lemnis. Because we want our students to study in BFSU and learn from each other and try different things and be a better yourself. So that's why we call it limitedness. And you can see the characters here. Actually, it has the same meaning, hello, but in different language, in 101 language. And this is a new building, another new building in our West Campus. So 3 of them are teaching office, and this one is for our international students. It's dorm, and all of them are single room available. About the dorm, we have 4 buildings available for our international students, which includes the single room, the double room, and 3 people room. And I'm going to show you a short short video about our dorm. This is a single room with the private bathroom. Yeah, this is the double room. But I would like to say no matter it's single room or double room, it have the necessary equipment. And this is our stadium. I like it very much. I nearly go to 3 times per week. We have an Olympic game. We have an Olympic campaign in our campus. This is Mrs. Luo. She won the Olympic game in 2004 for swimming. So if you are good at swimming or if you want to learn how to swim, you can register in swimming class. And you can also use the gym, you can use the badminton room or table tennis room. And this is a very famous building in our campus. It's library, very beautiful. And so the outside, many characters as well. It has the same meaning library, but similarly in different language. So if you have chance to study in BFSU in the future, you can try to find where is your language. And because of time limitation, I cannot show you around, but you can use your WeChat, just scan the QR code and visit our campus online by yourself. Well, let's move to our canteen. We have 5 canteens. 3 are located in the East Campus and another 2 is in the West Campus. And the food here is very cheap. You can see a set meal is just around 10 to 15 yuan. And as Isa mentioned before, the life here in China or in Beijing or in BFSU is very convenient. So you can just scan your face or scan the card to enter our campus, and you can just touch your phone and to pay for the bus or pay for the subway. And we have unmanned supermarket on campus as well. You can just scan the QR code for pay, or you can just scan your face for payment. And this robot is very common now in Beijing. In I would like to say maybe 30% of the restaurant. But if you go to Haidilao, a very famous hot pot restaurant in China, you will see that this robot is very common, and it's very fast and save space. Like, and in Beijing, you can travel to some traditional places like the Forbidden City, like the Great Wall, and like the Summer Palace. But except that, you definitely can go to some modern place like the Sanlitun shopping mall and Qijiuba is famous for, it's like the artist area. There are a lot of exhibition there. So if you are interested in picture or books or a museum, you can visit this place. And you can also visit the financial street, CDB. When you go there, you will see the big windows and like people are in suit. You can feel like you are the next Elon Musk. And we have lots of activities available. For example, the International Culture Festival, or we take pictures each semester, and we have the orientation week for our freshmen, and we have a lot of team building activities as well. And if you're good at sports, you can join our sports union or have a competition with another university. So let's make a summarize. In BFSU, especially in ABS, you will have the internationalized curriculum with business knowledge, with language, and with some culture, some law, and some social studies as well. And you will fall engaged with the Chinese students and build your social network here in China. And we have immersion week to put your theoretical knowledge into practice. And we have a strong cooperation with many companies. So it will help you to find intern or even find job. and the cultural diversity here. So you can experience you can experience a lot rather than just focus on China, because our students are come from many different countries. You can learn also from their culture. And we also have the homestay opportunity and extended family as well. And this will give you this will bring you the link with the local Chinese family. And we have a lot of scholarship available for the excellent student. So you may ask me, what program can we register? We have bachelor and master and certificate and foundation. So all the program here, you can see economic, international foundation, all the program here is available in English taught and Chinese taught. And for master program, this one is English taught and finance is Chinese taught. For certificate and foundation, is English taught program. And here are some details. You can see the price and you can see the entry requirement. Let's give you some details. For English taught program, it's available in 2 semesters. The spring semester, which will start from March, and the fall semester, which will start from September. And the Chinese program only available in fall semester, September, and the master degree only available in fall semester. But for foundation or certificate, is available both in spring semester and fall semester. So this is the basic entry requirement, but I suggest you can just send us your transcript so we can see that whether you need to take the foundation or whether which program is most suitable for you. Okay, the last part about the scholarship, very important. So far in China, we have 3 different kinds of scholarship. The first one is CSC, Chinese government scholarship. It includes the tuition fee, accommodation, and living fee. And this one, all students apply from the embassy themselves directly. But the rest two, provincial scholarship and school scholarship, we will have students to apply. It has 2 different kinds of scholarship. First one is freshman scholarship, which is available in year 1, and senior scholarship from year 2 to year 4. Because of time limitation, I will give you some idea about the freshman scholarship. So for freshman scholarship, it's tuition fee based. Like if you got 100% scholarship, you don't need to pay the tuition fee in the first year. And if you got 50% scholarship, you only need to pay the rest of 50%. Okay, so how can you apply the scholarship? If your GPA is about 3.2 out of 4, you can apply. And if you have the recommendation letter from the principal or from the head academic office, it will also help you to apply the scholarship. And if you have other certificate, like you win some kind of competition or you do some volunteer job, it will also help you to apply scholarship. And the last one, but most important one, I suggest that you can apply as early as possible, because the much earlier, the better. And the last part is about our contact. Here is our website. You can find many details on our website, like the dorm, like the price, like the curriculum, like the syllabus. All the details is on our website. And this is our public email. So if you want to send email to the public email, you can mention that you got this information from China admission. So my colleague will send your email to me. And this is my personal email. No, this is my working email. So you also can write email to me directly. And very welcome to follow us by Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Okay, I think that's the most important thing I want to share with you guys. And we may have 5 minutes for Q&A, and then we can, if you have any other questions in the future, please feel free to contact us. Let me see. Is there application fee or hard copy required in CSC scholarship, Beijing Foreign Study University? Okay, thank you so much for the question. So I think there should be the application fee because I think most of the university have the application fee. And is there required hard copy for CSC? I suggest to check on the website because each country, they may have some kinds of different. So I suggest to go to their website to check what exactly they need for CSC. Do you also offer PhD in marketing? Thank you for the question. We have PhD available in Chinese TOEFL, and we probably will have PhD from next year, but it's probably. So I suggest you can send me your transcript, your CV, your passport, so I can check with my teaching office to see whether you can register for the English TOEFL program next year. Do you offer scholarship for English TOEFL program? If so, do it start from the September or autumn semester? Thank you so much for the question. Yes, the scholarship is both available for the Chinese TOEFL program and English TOEFL program. Well, I assume what you mean here is provincial scholarship and school scholarship, because so far as I know, the policy now for the Chinese government scholarship is only available for the Chinese TOEFL program. But you can apply the provincial scholarship and school scholarship from us. And these two scholarship is available in English TOEFL program. And back to your question, when will it start? It depends on which program you like. For example, if you want to register in English TOEFL Bachelor and English TOEFL Bachelor, it will start from September. It will start from March. And if you want to study English TOEFL Master, it will start from September intake. And by the way, the scholarship is only available for degree study. What is degree study? Is bachelor study or master study. For short term, there's no scholarship available. Hope this will give you more ideas. And let's move on. Do you accept transfer students from the Chinese university? Are the scholarship available for them as well? Yes, we accepted transfer students from Chinese university. And if you also study business in that university, that will be better. The process of the transform is like you send me your transcript, and then I will contact our teaching office to mark, to calculate how many credits can be transformed to our university. We will match the curriculum, by the way, and to see how many credits can transfer to our university to FBS. Then we will decide which year can you start. You can apply scholarship. As I mentioned, scholarship is available for a degree study. If you study bachelor or master, yes, you can apply scholarship. If we have CGPA less than 3.2, like, shall we apply for CSC? Well, for CSC, I don't really know much details because, as I mentioned before, we don't really responsible for CSC application. But you can try. I suggest you try, and if we try, we have the chance. If we didn't try, we have no chance at all. So I suggest you can try. And next one, as well, we have recommendation letters and great achievements as well. Yes, recommendation letter and the certificate, other certificate will also help. But I would like to say 80%. It depends on your academic performance. What is the requirement for provincial scholarship? How do we know if we could apply? Thank you. Okay, thank you for the question. It's a really good question. Well, the provincial scholarship is the same, is similar. I should say similar. Provincial scholarship is similar to school scholarship. And the requirement is here. I would like to say 80% is depends on your academic performance. So as I mentioned before, let's take GPA as an example. If your GPA is about 3.2, out of 4, you are able to apply scholarship. And normally, if your GPA is about 3.5 out of 4, normally you can get 100% scholarship. And because maybe you have different study system, so you can just send me your transcript, then I will check, then I will tell you how many percent you will get. So it's much easier.